I guess, hi everyone. It's so weird because we're seeing each other in camera. But this is your host, Rebecca, from the Reddit Randos podcast. And today is kind of different. Not for you guys listening because you guys won't be able to see any of this. But it is different for me and my wonderful friend here, Mollie. You want to say hi, Mollie? Yeah. If she guys kind of goes in and out, it might be just because we are going through a video call today. We live close enough where we could visit each other, but we are busy enough as moms that sometimes it's just easier if we can use our technology to contact each other. So we are tonight video chatting with each other for this podcast tonight. And hey, if it goes well, we'll continue doing something like this with other guests as well, not just Mollie, but with other people who I would like to have come on to the podcast. And if this, it kind of goes in and out and you guys don't really like that, also give us your comments, give us your feedback. We're all up and open for that. So, but yeah, should we get into this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So, there is this one. So a lot of this I have tonight revolves around family drama, because you know how every family has some sort of drama in their lives, whether it be small or big. I will say for the first one, because I've been dying to tell you of it, and the last couple of times we've kind of like pushed it off because we've had so many other stories and we've like already gone almost 2 hours that we're like, okay, how about we save it for the next one? Because I have a folder for Mollie stories. So this was one that we chose between two, and we decided to choose one over the other because the one that we decided not to choose was like our last story, and we knew it was going to get juicy and take us probably another 30 minutes to talk about. So I'm going to start with it because I've been dying to tell you it. It's not as family drama like, it's more of a best friend boyfriend drama. So that's what we're going to start with. But the rest of the stories are definitely family drama. So this one we're starting off with was from a month ago. And if you remember it, it is my ex got paid to date me by my own best friend. I feel like a joke. So do you remember that?
So wild.
Yeah, I know. Is that wild? Okay. Yeah. So this was off the subreddit Charlotte Dobre YouTube. Now, Charlotte Dobre is another person who's a influencer or I guess I don't even want to say, she's just a YouTuber. But she does this also. She'll also read stories, like true stories from people online, or Reddit stories, just basically true stories online, and she reacts to them. But she's done a lot. She's also kind of an actress as well. So she's done a lot. Love her, because I think I actually got into stories like this because I'd see her videos on Facebook. But anyways, this person wanted to post this on her subreddit. And when you go to these subreddits, sometimes you get like the big ones, like the main popular ones, like Am I the A-hole? Or True Off My Chest. And those are more popular where people see them. This one, because you're off of ones that are not as popular or as common, they don't get as many views. But because I already knew these people and I decided to follow them, I caught this one, which was wild. It only has 469 upvotes. So only 469 people have like gone into this and actually read it and liked it. So that's not a lot of people. That's not a lot of like I guess going through and getting it out there for people to see. So, but it's quite a diamond in the rough story for sure.
Well, maybe we can increase their viewer uptick in.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. So, and I haven't heard. I listened to other people who talk about Reddit stories, and I haven't heard this one out there. So this is kind of like I like to try and get those newer ones that people haven't gotten. So it's like we're really looking through and getting these like really random, weird ones that people haven't touched a lot on the internet. So first of all, she kind of goes out there, and she's a big fan of Charlotte too, because she's like, I hope you see this because this is crazy how I have a story of my own. Okay, so anyways, buckle up, she says. I, 27 female, just found out something that feels like it was ripped straight from a scripted show, except it's not. It's my real life, and I wish it wasn't. So I was dating this guy, 28 male. Let's call him Jake. for about 6 months, and it was actually going well, like really well. He was sweet, funny, asked me questions about my day, remembered the little things I liked, and thought I'd hit the jackpot after a string of heartbreaks and walking red flags I've had. I introduced him to my family. He came to brunches. We cuddled on my couch and talked about dreams and childhood and music. He even came to my niece's birthday party, like real boyfriend stuff. And now I find out he was getting paid to date me. Let me repeat that. My boyfriend was getting paid to date me. And guess who was paying him? Not a prank show, not a scam, not a bet with the boys. My best friend, my literal best friend since high school, we'll call her M. Apparently, after my last breakup hit me hard, which, yeah, it did, she decided I needed to feel loved again. So instead of being supportive or taking me on a girls' trip like a normal person, she decided to hire a boyfriend for me. She knew Jake from some party and offered him actual money to cheer me up and make me feel special again. And the worst part, he said yes for the right price. Apparently, pretending to care about someone becomes easy. A mutual friend let it slip after too many drinks, and when I confronted M, she didn't even deny it. She tried to twist it into some weird act of love. You looked so happy. I just wanted you to feel confident again. Confident? You thought faking a relationship behind my back would help my self-esteem? And Jake? He tried to act like he caught feelings. At first it was just for the money, but then I really started to like you. Kind of stuff he would say. Like, that makes me feel better? You still lied. You still cashed out every week like it was a gig. Meanwhile, I was falling for someone who never existed. We had sex. We had real talks. And now every moment feels dirty and fake. I don't even know what was real. Did he even like my laugh? Was he ever actually listening to me? I feel humiliated, betrayed, like a complete idiot. And the person who was supposed to have my back, my best friend, was the one pulling the strings the whole time. To anyone reading this, if you ever think about doing something for someone's own good, like this, don't. It's not thoughtful, it's not romantic, it's twisted. Thanks for reading. I'm going to scream into my pillow now.
Man, I just, when you were reading that, it reminded me of the, I don't know if you ever watched it. It came out in like the late 90s. It's kind of like a take on the movie She's All That, although it wasn't wagering a bet. It was like actual money. Like, that's what that made me think of.
Or like how to get rid of, what is it? How to
lose a guy in 10 days.
How to lose a guy in 10 days. They were all both betting how like she could lose him and how he could keep her. Like, oh my gosh. Like, the stories, I swear, these are ones that we grew up on. And like,
this is like, it is literally a plot to a 90s rom-com.
It really is, because that thing he said, at first it was about the money. But then I started calling, another thing. 10 Things I Hate About You. That's another one. Literally, he was given money to take her out and date her, and then they started feeling for each other. So honestly, yeah, like you said, this was a bad take, though. Like, this is the reaction people probably should be having when they find out about these things. Like, normal people. Right. Like, those 90s plots, literally, those basically storylines are so romanticized.
They are.
They are. And they make it feel like you should be okay with that. But in real life, reality, this is like the real, like, I think reaction people should have. They should freak out. Like, was this all a lie? Did you even like me? I feel betrayed. I feel like I've been humiliated for thinking you needed to cheer me up by paying a guy to date me. So I'm so glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, because it's like, I've actually never heard of anything like this happening in real time, in real life. It's always been a movie script.
I Okay, that is like the funniest thing about Reddit is that some of these storyline or not storylines, I'm sorry, some of these stories we hear, they literally remind me like this is from a movie. This is
Right.
like yeah, this is like from a movie script and everything. And they're like, "No, this isn't fake. This is real. I literally had to live through this." And a lot of people are like this. They're like, "I can't believe this cuz this definitely sounds like I'm living a movie." So, yeah, top comment is a very long one. Basically, they said, first of all, don't feel guilty about having believed in this because nobody could have ever imagined what you just wrote. So, yeah, basically, they were just saying, like, you went through all this, don't feel guilty. You would never have, no one would ever imagine. You can't ever think of that going into everything. What if this isn't real? Because
Right.
you can't ever then move forward with your life if you're always hesitating back.
Right.
So there's a time to be cautious, and then there's a time to just trust in what you're going into. And eventually, just that was the path you were supposed to be on to go through this, unfortunately. And we learn from that. That's sometimes how we learn through things.
I mean, I appreciate the kind gesture from her friend wanting to cheer her up and push her into the right direction. I think she just, instead of hiring someone, she should have maybe just gotten his information and just simply asked him, "Hey, I have this friend. She's broken up. Would you maybe want to like hit her up sometime, or do you think that she would be like, I don't know, your what's the word, like your type, or like I don't know. I don't even know how dating
Honestly,
happens anymore, honestly."
just saying like, hey, do you want to go like on a blind date with this person and just see what if you're even interested? Honestly, you should never involve money. That just is a bribe. And a bribe never makes anyone feel good on the other side of being that bribed person. It's like, I wouldn't go out with you unless I was getting paid to do it. And that just gives you an icky feeling, that person who is going on that other side of the date, because it makes you feel like, was I even worth it? Just myself? Was that is very much that will hurt someone's self-esteem so bad. No wonder this person eventually is going to have like so many trust problems, especially after this. Like, I get it, everyone has trust issues with dating after they've hit so many bad people dating in life, but yeah, being a good friend is definitely not paying someone to date your friend. That, and this went on for 6 months. That's a long time. That's not even like
Yeah.
a couple of weeks and saying, hey, we've had a few dates and I'm hoping this cheered you up. But I have something going on in my life. And no, it wasn't that. They literally threw her for literally thinking this was going to be a long term thing. 6 months is a long time to be committed into this fake relationship. And
Right.
yeah, I don't care. You are still paying. I would feel so guilty as a friend, not for one time, but for doing this for 6 months.
Right.
So, and I'm glad you put that down because someone did later on comment saying, what in the she's all that slash 10 things I hate about you did I just read? This person's like, toss those friends in the bin. It's bad enough that M defies this plan, but your mutual friend knew about it and only told you because they were drunk. That feels criminal to me. That's right. She told other people around her about this plan that they were on, and once she got told, like once she admitted this to the friend M who set it up, she didn't even deny it. Like, was this so much in her face that no one saw it? Or, I'm sorry, you would make yourself look like a fool then.
Right.
You literally made your friend look like she's not smart for not realizing this and telling all your other friends. Like, how?
But she must have found this supposed Jake guy in quotes attractive and caring enough. Like, I don't know, because you'd think that there would be some cracks along the way in those 6 months where she started to see a little bit of a facade, or that's
Like a
quite
like yeah,
right.
he was putting up a mask basically. You can kind of like,
Right.
okay, is that how you really are? No, she's like, he's been loving and caring like an actual awesome boyfriend. How can a woman not feel that love or like those feelings. How could they not catch feelings for someone who is truly all about them? Like, how could this boyfriend be keeping up? Like, I don't know. I don't know how far people can go for money, but to keep up your faked act, if it was, in fact, but I mean, if you're still cashing out money and you're not getting that guilty conscience coming in, then boy, I'd be scared of this person because they probably could get away with murder and never be able to crack under pressure.
And who knows what kind of person he actually is?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know. I wonder if she's still friends with that friend that did that.
What I'm seeing is that M, the friend who set them up, she met him at a party. Hold on. So let's see. It was actually going well. She remembered things. Okay. Yeah, no, like they just met at a party. And the friend met Jake at a party. How can you know someone from just knowing them at a party? Like,
Right.
yeah, no, yeah, that's crazy. I would feel, I guess, just so betrayed. And then probably lose anyone who knew about this and didn't come up and tell me right away. Like, I would lose all trust and I'd probably lose a good friend group and a boyfriend.
Did it say anywhere, like any edit or updates, that she kind of ditched all those friends that did that, including M?
Yeah, no, she doesn't. There is an update. I do know that, so we'll get into that.
Okay.
Let's see. So this was a month ago. Okay, so yeah, not too long later, there's an update, and I won't even tell the title because that's what literally, like I said, the update. That's what threw me into the loop. So like over 900 people, almost 1,000 people then saw this update. So more people got drawn in from the update than they did from the original post, which is wild, but you'll see in a second why. So it says, so remember when I posted about my ex-boyfriend was getting paid by my best friend to date me? Buckle up because this just took a hard left into this can't be real life territory. Jake, the ex who pretended to love me for money, is now in jail. So, like actual jail, orange jumpsuit, mugshot. I couldn't make this up if I tried. I love how this person writes. Here's how it went down. A couple of days after everything blew up, I was still deep in my heartbreak, don't trust anyone era, when a mutual friend, bless her nosy heart, sent me a link to a local police blotter post. And this is what it was. Jake's name, his face, under the headline, it says, local man arrested for fraud and identity theft. And she goes, excuse me? Apparently, Jake didn't just fake a relationship. He's been living a double life. So now it makes sense how he's able to live this, like, keep up with this for 6 months. The man had multiple aliases, fake accounts, and get this, was scamming women online for money. So he basically was just walking right up to someone who gave him a job that he's been doing already illegally. And I'm not talking about basic catfishing. He was posting as different guys, building relationships with women, then asking for help with rent, cars, sick family members, etc. Classic scammer behavior. Turns out he used my relationship as a cover. While dating me and pretending to be some dream boyfriend, thanks to the money my bestie M was slipping him, he was running all these other side scams behind the scenes. And get this, when the police searched his stuff, they found screenshots and notes about me, like a literal script. Talking points, quoted like, ask about her dad here. Bring up her favorite coffee order. It's like I was a freaking role he was playing.
That is wild.
That is wild. The worst part, M still tried to defend him. She messaged me saying, this isn't the guy I knew. He must have changed. Girl, he didn't change, you just didn't know him. Or worse, you didn't care. So yeah, Jake is in jail. There's an ongoing investigation, and apparently more women are coming forward. I've already been contacted by someone who thinks they were also being played by him while we were together. I'm honestly numb at this point. What started as a horrible breakout, or sorry, what started as a horrible breakup turned into a full-on crime show, and the betrayal from my best friend still stings the most. I'm doing better now, though I cut off M, blocked everyone who tried to gaslight me about it, and I'm currently in my wine and self-respect era. She likes those eras. To anyone going through something similar, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. And if your friend says they're helping you in weird ways, ask questions. Anyways, thanks for the support on the first post. You guys made me feel like I was way less alone. If anything else wild happens, I'll probably be back. What?
So basically, two girls got scammed because, M was scammed as well out of her money. And then, the main person of this story who's telling the story got scammed out of her trust and her time, her energy, her love,
I wonder if he found like he somehow slipped in things like, oh, you just need someone to treat her well. You just need to find someone that, will be able to give her a good time and be very obvious with it instead of having to have her find a date out there. Like, I don't know, maybe he was slipping it in there and then somehow she's like, you know how those people manipulate those areas where they somehow make it sound like it was your idea, but somehow they've been like playing chess with this person and literally making it sound like it was their idea. I wonder. That's crazy because I was not expecting that. Like, I knew this was crazy, but then hearing that he's been living a double life, which makes so much sense how he was able to keep up with this for 6 months, but then also scamming all these other women. And then I think the crazy part was when they found actual scripts of like what he needed to do to, like, oh my word, that's like, I would feel weird if I had a boyfriend and then all of a sudden I find scripts saying, oh, ask about her dad, ask what her favorite color or coffee order is. Like, I'd be like, could you just not come up with that with your own? Did you have to write it on a piece of paper? Like, I'd be suspicious if I saw that.
Wonder if he went home, like the times that he wasn't with her, and he like would just go back to his house and memorize these
stand in front of the mirror and be like, oh no, let's do your movie tonight. I know you like this, or
Those are the makings of a psychopath. Like,
the people who play like that in their mind, like I said, that is crazy behavior. Crazy. Yeah, that's a psychopath right there. And for him, yeah, for someone who's been scamming the women, like saying, oh, I need it for sick family members. Yeah, we know why you didn't feel bad tricking this fake girlfriend for 6 months. Like, you have literally no guilt. You have no morals. Like, you literally would do anything in life to get through and fake your way. Like, we don't know who this person is. Well, we know he's a criminal. That's for sure. But that there's no good coming from this guy.
To keep all of these identities straight and to keep all of these like scripts and all these stories, keeping them all straight and not confusing any one of them at any point in time. Like, that's just ugh.
It's like when a guy or someone cheats on multiple people, like they cheat on their boyfriend with multiple people, and then they get like, they actually call like maybe their partner or someone else the other name. Or it's like when someone's like, you know why he calls you pet names and never calls you by your actual name? It's probably because he's calling all these other girls or the women calling all these other guys these pet names so they don't have to remember who's who. Like, yeah. That honestly, so boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, I guess now, is total psychopath. Best friend is like, that throws me off. They've been friends since high school and they are, what are they, in their 20s? Oh, late 20s. This woman's 20, they're 27. That's almost 10 years right there or more of friendship from high school and you literally just blew it all up for this crazy idea that, I mean, that's dangerous for someone that you hardly know to just start dating your best friend. You don't know what he's like. Obviously, we have proof right here that we know he's a psychopath, but we didn't know that before.
The fact is, too, like, I think you said in there that she kind of went on to sort of defend him at first instead of just taking a step back and think about what her friend was telling her before they even had, definitive proof. It's like, girl, you have issues. Like,
no.
I think
you can't just admit you messed up. That was like, no. So I don't, yeah, that best friend honestly was probably like just, I think she wasn't really a good friend. I honestly think she was just fed up of OP having to cry about all these breakups. And I think she was just like, we're going to fix this. And it was just like the craziest idea, but this was like the quick fix. This was literally like the quick fix. Have someone be willing to get paid, but be the best boyfriend ever. Like, all guys know how to be the best boyfriend, which means they have to sacrifice a lot in their life to be always make the person, the wife or the girl, happy. But honestly, like, that's obviously not real. And yeah.
Just imagine what kind of boyfriend he would be if he wasn't getting.
Honestly, I don't think he would be a boyfriend. I think he'd just be going in for one thing. So, but I feel, yeah, like this is like huge trust issue now. Like, I don't blame her for, I would go to therapy after this.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. This person needs to go to therapy. This was, like you said, this is a movie script that turned out completely wrong. We were lucky all those movies obviously were actors and actresses had good backgrounds about them, but like this person was a psychopath and criminal without a heart, putting a face up front. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, that's the story I've been wanting to tell you because it was nuts.
Well, I hope that OP found a much healthier group of friends and that she's doing well. She's seeking therapy herself, and yeah.
This was a month ago, so it wasn't that long ago. I bet it still stings. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one because, man, that was crazy. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into more now family drama after that blow up of of a story. But, okay, so this next story is, okay, it's from Am I the A-Hole? And it's from a month ago, and it is, am I the A-hole for not cooking fancier meals? I know. So some of these stories, they're probably not as crazy, but they're of things that people do deal with a lot.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm the only one who cooks in our house. It's just four of us, my husband, me, and my daughter, and little brother. My husband is 27 and I'm 25. My husband barely knows how to make eggs, even though I've tried to talk to him constantly about learning how to cook. My daughter and brother are still in elementary school, so they only help me cook. Okay, my daughter and brother.
Can I stop you? So is she referring to her brother?
See, that's what that's what I was wondering. Because I think I got confused by why. Okay, so hold on. Maybe someone will explain it. I
don't know, because that kind of sounds like that at first I thought, well, maybe it's her daughter's.
No, I think it's like my daughter and little brother. So I think she means. Well, okay,
maybe it's his. Maybe it's his daughter and the daughter's little brother.
No, so it's my husband. So the person writing this is the wife. So it's my husband, me, and my daughter and little brother. She's 25. Maybe she has a little brother who's still in high school, and they just were very far apart in age, and the parents aren't available. But I don't know. It's not showing anything about brother, unless she was saying daughter. Why would she say daughter and son? Like, why wouldn't she say that? Why would she say little brother to the daughter? That just seems a little weird. I'm guessing she might have a younger brother who's a lot more spaced out in years. Because I see nothing. Everything's saying like, no, there's nothing mentioning that. So we're gonna just, we're gonna assume little brother, it's her actual brother, and he might be just a lot younger than her, and he's living with her. But it's just the four of us, my husband, me, and my daughter, and little brother. My husband is 27 and I'm 25. My husband barely knows how to cook. Okay, we got that. So my daughter and brother are still in elementary school. Okay, so little brother is still in elementary. So parents must have had a really random, they're really old in age and had a kid.
Right.
And they're just taking care of him. She does not go into that. Okay, so my daughter and brother are still in elementary school, so they only help me cook. The responsibility falls on me, and it's honestly exhausting. So I just set up a system in my head. It's easy. For breakfast, it's just something with eggs or cereal. Lunch is some sort of sandwich, burger, and leftovers. Dinner is the meal I usually plan, but I have like 10 dishes I repeat. Sometimes I'll go off, especially Sunday, but generally I stay because it's easier for me mentally. Well, one day I made just pasta Alfredo with chicken, and as we were eating, my husband mentions that it would be nice if I made fancier dishes. I asked him what he meant, and he explained he wants me to change things up and add some more meat dishes and variety. Okay. Next time, we went out shopping, and I was putting ingredients I don't usually buy into the cart. As the ingredients started piling up, my husband was getting all puffy and upset. We got to the meat aisle, and I started picking out the beef, and that's when my husband lost it and started taking things out of the cart, saying that we can't afford my fancy living. I blinked at him and tried to explain that he was the one who asked for variety and different dishes, so I'm buying different ingredients. He rolled his eyes and told me that I'm being dramatic. I just let him do his thing, taking out most of the ingredients out. The next week, I made the same dishes because that's all I had ingredients for. A week passed and my husband was all pouting that I made fried rice again and that he's sick of chicken. When I pointed out that he took out all the beef out of our cart, he blew up on me again and said I'm being an a-hole because he doesn't know how to cook. Am I the a-hole?
No, your husband's delusional.
Yeah, honestly, no, your husband's a child. Like, obviously, he gets mad that you guys can't afford this stuff, but he can't figure it out that that's why you've been cooking this stuff. Like, okay, you figure out how to cook things. You come up with a meal plan. You do all this stuff. And if you want the fancier meat, then we're going to have to get this other food that we don't like as much the next day because that's all we can afford.
And not only that, but, if you want to have fancier meals, you have to be able to budget for that. If you don't have the money to afford meals like that, then maybe enjoy it once a month. Or set your expectations lower. Be content with eating the same things all the time. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
No, honestly. And you know what I'm going to say? Because we say this for, like, dating. We say that for, like, literally everything. What does it mean to you can't have your cake and eat it too? What does that mean, Molly? Do you know what that means?
It means you can't have your cake sitting there looking pretty. You can't save it and then also expect to enjoy it by eating it as well. You can't have your cake just to have it, as well as eat it. That's how I've always understood that saying to mean.
You can't have something sitting there looking pretty and still expect it to be pretty once you've eaten it. Like, it's not going to be there. It's going to be gone. Yeah. So you've kind of you just lost everything by choosing both and not one. So that's like for relationships when people are like, and dare I say it, in Love Island, when there's a triangle, people are in a triangle.
In Love Island.
I know, me and Love Island. I'm sorry. I'm kind of obsessed all of a sudden. But there's like a relationship where there's a guy and two girls or two guys and a girl and they're in a triangle and someone just makes that mistake of they just want they want their cake and eat it too. They can't do that. They can't have both. You got to choose one or the other. You got to choose one or the other. So, yeah, that's like that could go with this too. Like you can't just say you want fancier meals and then expect it to still be on a budget for it. You're going to have to sacrifice one or the other. Are you going to sacrifice your budget or are you going to sacrifice having good meals?
You can still make budget-friendly meals that feel fancy and are nice to add into your dinner rotation. For example, beef has been high in price for a long time, and who knows when it will come down.
Yeah.
So you can use like ground chicken or ground pork or ground turkey. We use ground turkey as a sub for ground beef all the time, and it's so much cheaper than $5 for 1 pound of ground beef.
Sometimes we get sausage, and I'll do ground sausage, and we'll make breakfast meals, and I'll do like I like to make breakfast quesadillas. We do quesadillas a lot, and we'll mix it up instead of having the same meats all the time. We'll change it up. I will say we haven't bought meat like beef or ground beef in so long because it's been crazy expensive, and I feel like we just go through it so fast because they're becoming less and less. We also get the more expensive one that's more lean and less fat, because the more fat you get, honestly, the less you get because it shrivels up once all that fat's gone when you cook it. But then the more lean it is, obviously, the more expensive it gets. And like I'll get like a 10-pound of ground beef, and that's like already $40 there at some place.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I can't spend $40 to last me a week or two.
This is why, for all of you that are listening, hit up your local farmers. I don't know where all of you are listening from, but get to know your farmers, get to know your co-ops, because they can offer some really good deals for cuts of meat, for milk, eggs, all that stuff, because everything that's in a store is going to be like marked way up.
Yeah, no, it's no doubt about it. Honestly, Justin and I eventually will probably buy like half a cow maybe someday so we can like literally have it in the freezer and have it to save up for the whole year. It is obviously expensive up front, but it definitely will last you a lot longer in the long run.
Yes.
So that's what we were thinking in the future. Right now we've been doing a lot of chicken, but we've found new ways to cook it. So Justin's a very big on, he hates dry meats. He hates dry chicken, like poultry meats. Whenever we had like Thanksgiving, he'll always go for the dark meat for turkey because he does not like white. I love dry. I think I just grew up on it because my dad grew up as a farmer. We grew up with like dry cooked all the way through meats and potatoes and veggies, but it was like we cooked it all the way. If my mom accidentally even charred it a little bit, my dad would still eat it. It's like whatever is burnt, give it to dad, he'll eat it. So I just grew up because my dad was very much a meats and potato guy, and he grew up with it being like dry to the bone because it was cooked all the way through. And meeting Justin, it was like, no, we're not having that. He absolutely would never eat chicken. I only bought chicken to eat for myself because I knew it was healthier, it was cheaper. But finally, knowing how bad the market's been with groceries and the meat products, I finally told him, like, I'm sorry, it's so expensive. We can't buy meat for a while just because it's not high on the priority list. So you're going to have to get used to these other meals, and we can't keep eating out. And that's when we got a smoker. Thank goodness, because we were planning on getting one. We actually got one from a friend. So then he's like, let's smoke the meat. And chicken is super easy to smoke.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Super easy. It's a lot quicker than other meats. And it tastes so good and juicy. So we've been using it as a variety of what we could have for meals. I am so that simple chicken and rice person. I could eat the same thing every day. There are times I'll want a variety, but I know how to change it up. And Justin, he says he likes the same things, but if I cook something new, I'm afraid they're not going to like it. I'm like, I'm not wasting this food. This is precious food money here.
I know a lot of people like to slam canned chicken. However, if you're adding chicken into any casseroles or creamy based salads like chicken salad itself or something of that nature, canned chicken is very, very inexpensive and it can go a long way. And it tastes good too. Like, people always say, ew, like.
Okay, you are onto something there, because I follow this person who kind of does more high protein meals, but she does it in a very budget friendly way. And she has definitely mentioned, I don't know how many times, the canned chicken. Like, oh, if you have your own chicken, you can do that too. But she's like, canned chicken, she'll show me exactly. It's just literally the Walmart brand of canned chicken. And she's like, this works just as good. I have literally been thinking, like, I've been thinking for myself for certain meals I like, for meal prepping. I do a lot of dips, or like you have like your meat kind of dips, like, and you do like in like the little 2 quart, a little glass containers, like the meal prepping or Tupperware glass containers. And but yeah, I've been really thinking of doing that. So I know all those people like, I want fresh foods. Like, just let you know, unless you're rich or you can really, really budget for those wonderful, fresh, organic, like right there, just stocked up all of a sudden foods from the grocery store. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what your taste is like, but honestly, sometimes you gotta sacrifice your taste just to have a budget for things.
And with that being said, too, I think a lot of people are catching on to that narrative that food in grocery stores is really, really unhealthy. And so there are lots of people that are graciously setting out food stands, like with fresh produce. Like, there's several here in Polk City and Grimes that have honor system, and which isn't always common in places like Des Moines. But here, like out in Grimes and these rural towns, you have like honor system Venmoing people who are setting out these things, and it's like low cost produce too, because they're just selling it to give back to their community. So there's that too. That's something to think about.
I've been seeing those, and I think those are great. I've actually been thinking like maybe we should start growing our own vegetables, so it's like from our own. So I know not everyone has that I don't even want to say luxury, because no one has that luxury to do it. Not everyone has that just that space or time. Even time. I get it. People work full time. I'm still working full time. I'm doing a podcast on the side, and I have 3 kids. Mollie's got the same thing. She works. She's got 3 kids, and she's got tons of activities for them. And we're all busy. You don't even have to be as busy as us to still have that excuse that you're busy. I understand. So we're not giving anyone saying like you should do this and this is the only way to do it. No, this is just an other option you can do to do things. But honestly, in this case, this husband needs to realize that if he wants fancier meals, he needs to literally tell his wife, what do you want? And how can we fit that in with the budget? Because like she said, you can't have both. You have to have one or the other, but still find ways. You can mix things into there, but you still have to pick more of one than the other, and maybe slide a little bit of one thing. But yeah, mix it up. If she likes her 10 meals, and this is another thing I knew I wanted to put on. I get where she's going at, where she just mentally goes through with the same meals all the time. Hey, it's a repeated thing. It works. It fits in your budget. Why not always stick with it? I totally get that. But she could make some changes, like very small changes. The chicken Alfredo with pasta could be changed into chicken Alfredo with maybe a different type of pasta sometime. Or instead of chicken, it could be sausage, like ground sausage. And sometimes if you want those fancier meats, maybe you just do less of it. Don't have such a heap of it, like a heaping amount, but have less of a portion of it to mix with your meals. I just say, they need to talk and really go down little by little. What meals do you want to see? What can we mix in with the 10 variety of meals I have, and put another variety of maybe 10 other meals for another week? So we can go every other week with different meals. I don't think that's bad. We do have an update with this person about 23 days ago. So the first one was a month ago, and this one is 23 days. So I guess like maybe a week later. The update is, I'm still in shock with the way this post blew up. I honestly was just to prove a point to my husband, but that a post definitely did that and more, I guess. So when I showed him the post, he was in shock, angry for a minute, but then read a few comments, then turned off his phone and acted like it didn't bother him. He didn't talk to me for the rest of the evening, and at night, I woke up to see him reading the comments again, but just went back to sleep. So, okay, I'm going to stop there just for a second. This husband doesn't react well. He kind of blows up and gets mad easily about things if they don't go his way. So I don't like that, but we'll keep reading. So I didn't mention it, and the next morning, he was still not really talking much. That evening for dinner, when we sat at the table, he finally brought up the post. He asked me if I agreed with what the comments said. I just shrugged and said that, yes, I agreed with some. He was quiet after that, and while we were cleaning up, he apologized for his behavior. Then a few days later, he asked if we could start making dinner together every night. It was a bumpy road at first, but honestly, after a week, we started enjoying it, and now a few weeks later, he's gotten much better and even made a few meals himself. The reason behind his behavior, he admitted, was because his mother had been trying to contact him lately. It's been stressing him out, and one time when she called him, she started talking trash about me, and she goes, "What else is new?" and kept mentioning that I'm not feeding him well enough, that he was much happier when he was eating her food. Honestly, I don't even know what she was trying to do. My husband apologized for it and said that he likes my cooking, but he let her words get to him. He's talking to his therapist about all this. That's really it. A lot of people asked for the update or for his reaction, but there wasn't much. He handled it a lot better than I hoped. He even started joking about some of the comments a few weeks ago, and it's become somewhat of an inside joke. Thank you, Reddit, for helping us through this. Life is good. Hope you all have a good dinner tonight. So that was a happy ending, I think.
Definitely. I think, because my husband and I kind of walked through this in our very, very years of marriage, even right before we got married. It's called cutting the apron strings. When you make the choice to be a husband, to enter into a marriage, you can't go back home running to mom anytime things aren't exactly like how they used to be before you got married. And my husband had to do that a little bit too. This is before we got married, but I wanted to make sure that we were both going into marriage, both standing on our own 2 feet, not having a lot of influence from our parents, and that our marriage was our own. And yeah, I think it's a lot harder for men and their moms, I think, sometimes, depending on the type of relationship they have prior to marriage.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of have the opposite where, I mean, at first I really did think it was like Justin would go to his mom a lot for advice when I literally told him the same exact thing. And I feel like I would tell him what I think needed to be done. And then he'd go to his mom and mention it. And she'd tell him the same exact thing. So then he'd come to me later and say, okay, I think we need to do this. And I'm like, I would at first be so mad. And then the other times I would bite my tongue. And then I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. Because I do think sometimes if I go to her and tell her these things and she brings them up, somehow he'll take it faster than going to me. And I think at the beginning we started with kind of a rough part in our marriage where I would nag him a lot because he was still living such a bachelor life. And it's like, we have a kid. I am busy with working still. It's like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. So it's like, I can't clean up after you all the time. Like, I need you to do this. I need you to help me with this. Like, I am not someone who, like, I didn't get to live on my own, like, to learn all that. I came from living with my parents, going to college, and then when him and I, we had our daughter, it's like, boom, I went from being from parents, college to him. And it's like, I didn't have that time where I could live by myself and be independent and come up with all this stuff. So I honestly think in this story, it worked well. We now understand why all of a sudden he got all funky. And I will say, there is another post on this person's account that we understand what the mother-in-law and his side of the family is like more. And it's not good. But we won't go into that. It's very much, okay, from this story, we understand why her relationship with them is not good, why they don't like her. And it's not even on her. It's basically just how they are as people. And yeah, honestly, I think wife or the mother-in-law is very much not happy that her son is away from her.
Probably because her own marriage is not good. Usually, you tend to see that.
No, I don't even know if she is. I don't even know if mother-in-law is married, but they're very much the sister-in-law definitely does weird things. Like in the story that I was talking about that I saw on her, it was basically she's posting how she basically called out her sister-in-law saying that the reason why her son, her oldest son who's 6, that has a speech impediment is because of the way the sister-in-law talks to her son. And the sister-in-law has like 3 kids, like 6, 4, and 1. And the oldest is the one that talks like a baby constantly. Because the sister-in-law talks to all of her kids in a baby voice, like baby talk, constantly. Doesn't talk to them in normal talk. Like literally has broken grammar and everything baby talk. Like, mommy go to store, mommy need food, mommy be back. Like that's like sentences she would say. And that's why the kid would talk to would talk to the husband and to the person writing this, like the total complete sentences, but in baby talk. Like, you know your kid's going to be in first grade and they're going to get picked on for talking that way. And she's like, oh, they'll grow out of it. Speech therapy is not going to do anything for this kid. And yeah. So as soon as OP literally said something like, you know your kid's going to have this problem because you keep talking to him like this. And they attacked her and made her, like, they literally called her a terrible person. And how she was a terrible mom to her own kids because she didn't love them the same way. And yeah, that's the relationship. You can see what this person has to go through with the mother-in-law. So that's when she's like, what else is new? What else is new that they're talking trash about her? Like,
that. So is the sister-in-law like her?
It's husband's sister.
Husband's sister? Okay.
Yeah, it's husband's sister. So that's, yep.
So
that's why I'm saying you can kind of see how this family is, mother-in-law and sister-in-law with that other post, what they are like.
So why did it say in that other post why? I'm assuming it's that little brother. Is that her brother or is that just another?
No, they don't mention anything about the little brother. So I have no idea if that is like little brother to her daughter. So she was just saying like, oh, my daughter and little brother. But she says my little brother. So I kind of think it is her little brother. And he's just super huge difference. Maybe it's a stepbrother. Maybe it's an adopted brother and something happened. Okay. We have no idea. No idea. I can't tell you anything about that. And if someone reads that post from the title and you find out, you can tell us in the comments. Because no offense, can't really look into it too much because we got to move on. So, but that's the end of that story. Okay, so this one is this is Am I the A-hole? And it's r/AITAH, so it's another subreddit of Am I the A-hole? This one is titled, this was from 4 months ago. It is, Am I the A-hole for asking my sister-in-law if she wanted to kill my son just to prove she could get him to not have an allergic reaction in a specific restaurant? Kind of a mouthful.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Let's just get into it.
Yep.
Okay. I, 33 male, am a stay-at-home dad. Oh, you don't see those very often. Okay, I'm curious. Okay, my wife and I have 3 children. Cal, who's 7, Tilly, who's 4, and Ro, who's 18 months old. Cal is close in age to 2 of his cousins, aka sister-in-law's kids. And I have no idea, it doesn't say if this is his, like, brother's sister, or brother's. So we don't know if this is from his side or her side. We're not getting into it. Either way, this is sister-in-law's kids, the 2 cousins. One is in the same grade and class at school as him, and the other is just a year old. Sister-in-law typically takes her kids out to eat after school on Fridays, and she takes them window shopping into an arcade. My wife and I let him go one time, and at the time, sister-in-law said she didn't really know where they'd go to eat. We asked her to avoid this specific restaurant for Cal's sake. He has a nut allergy and has different levels of reaction depending on his closeness to them. This particular restaurant uses nuts in basically everything and uses a lot of nut oils while cooking. We went there as a family for the first after being told they took allergies very seriously and had substations and very good standards for keeping allergens away from meals when needed. They had good standards for keeping allergens away from meals when needed. But the exposure while we were there still caused a reaction. And we left without eating because it wasn't worth it. We explained this to her, but she still took them there and said she was extra careful, but he ended up being sick while there as a result of the allergy. It wasn't anaphylaxis, but it angered both my wife and myself. Sister-in-law apologized and said she truly didn't see it being a big issue. You're not truly sorry if you see it's not an issue.
Yeah, and you were told specifically to not go to that restaurant.
You were specifically told not to go there, and you still went there. My gosh. Okay. Sister-in-law said she figured she could take extra precautions, and my wife told her sister, so this is wife's sister. That's who the sister-in-law is. Sister-in-law said, and my wife told her sister she should have accepted the fact that we didn't want him there and found somewhere else or not taken him at all. Turns out sister-in-law and her kids always go to this restaurant. They know it'll happen even though she asked about 4 or 5 other places nearby. Which is why I don't want my son to join them on Fridays for their Friday expeditions. Sister-in-law told him she wants to start taking Cal again, and her kids would love it, and since they're also close in age, it makes sense. I told her I couldn't allow it because I know where she takes them to eat, and it's not safe for Cal. Sister-in-law argued that they could end up somewhere else, and she learned her lesson. I asked if that meant 100% she wouldn't go to that restaurant to order food from there. She said she didn't have to. I told her that wasn't a definite confirmation that she's avoided. This is weird writing. She talked to my wife about it, and my wife agreed with me. Sister-in-law said we are denying the kids precious cousin time, and Cal would be well taken care of. We said that safety of our son is number 1. Sister-in-law said I didn't give her a second chance to prove that she learned. And I told her she thought she had learned how to avoid it the last time too. And I said we don't have a lot of rules for taking our kids, but the healthy and safety aspect is something I won't ignore. I told her she could have always taken him for window shopping in arcade and dropping him home if she wanted time, but safely, and she said she would feel like a monster leaving him out of the meal, and she could figure out a way to make everyone safe and happy. I told her I didn't trust her to avoid that place, and she wasn't winning my trust on that with anything. I asked her if she wanted to kill Cal, just to prove that she could take him there without a reaction while we can't. She called me a B-word and said I was making it sound significantly worse than it is. That all she wanted was to include him, and she was willing to find a way. She said I was basically calling her an evil monster, and it wasn't fair. She tried to complain to my wife about what I said, but my wife backed me up and told her she wasn't reassuring us well, and she had the same concerns. Sister-in-law complained to her husband, and next he told me I went too far, and saying she wanted to kill Cal was unfair. Maybe it was, but since she ignored the concerns we had the past 2 incidents at the restaurant, I can't stop wondering how serious she's taking this. Am I the a-hole? So the thing they're asking if he's the a-hole is basically saying, are you wanting to kill my son just to prove that you can take him to this restaurant without having a reaction? Basically, that's what he told her.
She's downplaying her thoughts on what his reaction is. Basically.
She keeps saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, but I think I'll be more careful next time. I don't know. She says she won't take him to this place again, even though she was told the first time not to take him to this place. Right. So would you, I don't know, if this was my sister-in-law and this was Justin's sister, honestly, I know how she is. She knows. She would always ask us first, knowing if we wanted to go to this place or not. If it was a new place and we'd be okay with her, like my oldest going to this place or not. That's because she respects our decisions and our choices. So sister-in-law, I don't know why she was told not to go, and then she just completely disregarded it. So I don't know.
Right.
Would you trust someone again if they completely disregarded your decision on where you didn't want your kid to go because of a health issue
I don't know. I would probably say no.
without being there in person?
Yeah. Yeah, because like just because she didn't experience the same sort of reaction dad did when they took their oldest there doesn't mean that it won't happen again another time.
Well, and the way she's playing this out with her remorse, like it's not really remorse because she's saying she's sorry, but it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, you can't say you're sorry and then counteract with that because that makes me feel like you aren't really sorry for what you did because you don't think it was that big of a deal.
Right. That's exactly what her sorry, in quotes, means. Like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but this is my favorite restaurant. This is my time that I'm spending with these kids, and I'm going to take them wherever I want to go. Like, it's all me and I, and nothing about, Cal's, needs and his parents' wishes and respecting that. She can go to that restaurant any other time. Why does she need to take him specifically? Or
I think they're trying really hard to compromise and saying, if you want to take them out to eat your own kids, fine. But then you could probably come back and pick them out to go window shopping and go to the arcade. You guys can still have fun, but we're going to skip the meal because right now with him having that nut allergy and we know there's certain places also I'd be afraid because she disregarded the one place they told her not to go. I'd be afraid if they went to a place that maybe they weren't aware of, that maybe had those allergens, and she would disregard or ignore the fact that some areas maybe had a bunch of food made with nuts, or even a meal that she'd choose for him and it'd have nuts in it. I would be afraid to trust her with foods and make sure. That's so hard when you have a kid with an allergen, a food allergy. You really have to really trust who you can have your kid take with and make sure that they understand the full concept. And if that trust is broken from the beginning off of something you directly told them not to do, even if it's your family, I would be worried. I'd say, yeah, sorry, we're going to skip meals and we're only going to take him out when we're present because we want to make sure we know what places are good for him or not. And we just, even if we go to a place that we know is good, 100% we want to make sure we know what he eats is going to be good too. That's just, sorry, you need to respect our wishes because this is for the safety of our own kid. Now you take him window shopping, go to the arcade, that's all cool. But for her to say, oh, they need the full experience, seriously?
No.
Just take the L. Take the loss.
Yeah. And she's only doing it, she's only making that statement because she's selfish and she doesn't want to have to explain to Cal. But Cal seems like he's the oldest one out of all three of those kids. So his parents could just simply tell him, hey, buddy, this is how it has to be. If you still want to go and enjoy the two other parts of your outing with your aunt, then that's great. I mean, and you can go do that if you want to. If not, because you're going to feel bad about missing the meal, then you can just hang back and we'll let your brother and sister or your other siblings enjoy that time and maybe we can find something else to do.
Yeah.
Talk to your kids.
Yeah. No, the kid is 7. Cal is 7. So he's old enough to understand things when things aren't going correctly. They're smart. They can understand things. But they're still a child. So they're not going to be fully responsible knowing what things have something that's dangerous for them. And that's why you have to rely on the adult. And if you can't trust the adult, I'm sorry, then you can't trust your own child to make the decisions right for them because they're a child. So that's why they're at an age when you still have to supervise them, Yeah. So there is a couple comments. I think I'm going to skip to, the top comment says, am I missing something? After the first mistake, all she had to do was categorically promise you that she would have not taken your son to that restaurant again or order food there. Instead, she gave a non-committal answer and no reassurance for you. This is on her. You're not the a-hole. She is, though. But that, I don't even think after the first mistake, there shouldn't have been a first mistake at all. The first mistake should have been you went to a restaurant they approved of because you gave them that restaurant and approved them, but somehow one of the meals ended up having nuts and it didn't say that, or that would have been a mistake, but that would have been an accident, a horrible accident, but could still be the one mistake. Your mistake was disregarding their choice and telling you not to go to that restaurant. That's
And it really wasn't even a mistake. It was like a direct, like, I'm just gonna have this like little act of rebellion. And I'm just gonna completely disregard you. Like it wasn't even a mistake.
It's like I'm gonna see if I can get away with this, just because right. I'm gonna see if this really, I think he'll be fine. I think this is what I'm thinking is that parents are very alert with him with having this nut allergy, even though it can escalate or not be as serious depending on what he comes in contact with. But because they know this whole restaurant uses these like nuts and nut oils, it doesn't matter if he has no food with it. There's enough people going around that it probably is just there, and your body can sense it. Or if like the person next to you has that food. Yeah. So honestly, if they already know he got sick just going to the restaurant, what do you do when you have a reaction going someplace? You don't go there again. That's just, you don't get in contact with it again.
Josh has a half sister so back in the day when Texas Roadhouse used to serve you peanuts when you waited, you could throw them on the floor and they
peanuts
would
are everywhere.
At the end of the day.
And she's got a peanut allergy.
Yes, she does. So we never went there. But my mother-in-law was like, "Yeah, can we choose somewhere else to eat?" Yeah, sure. Like that's not a problem. Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to Texas Roadhouse, but it's not a big deal. Like we want to be mindful of her health and safety and make sure. And she has an anaphylaxis reaction. I don't know if she still does or if she's outgrown that allergy, but back in the day, like if she even smelled the peanut, she'd be like, ugh.
And that's the thing. It doesn't even matter if you have anaphylaxis. If you don't feel good when you come in contact with something, you don't go in those areas. You don't go in the places that make you sick, and this is where they're like, it wasn't anaphylaxis. Thankfully, it could have been, but thankfully it wasn't. That's the thing. You just never know. You have to be careful. And you're right. Yeah. It was for selfish reasons that she went there. She probably was like, oh, but it's so good and the kids already know what they like there, so we're just going to go there. And when you have, even if it's your family, if it's someone that is not your own blood that is good in this area, even if they didn't tell you, like they're like, oh, that's the thing. It's like, this is your nephew, the sister-in-law, this is your nephew. For his health, he is the guest in your group of family right now. He is the guest. You need to take care of your guest.
See, this is the thing with family. My mom and I were just talking about this the other day. People who, usually it's family that you're closest to. Those, family members, when you are in a state of dysfunction, those that are closest to you within your family get abused, whether that's physically, verbally, what have you, the most, because they're family, right? Like, what are they going to do? Whereas with a friend or an acquaintance or someone outside of that family, you don't treat them the same way. You treat them with more kindness and more cautiousness because you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't ever be that way with really close friendships, because it can. But I think some people have this mentality, oh, well, it's my sibling, or it's my in-law, or it's a niece or nephew. Like, what are they going to do away from me? They're family. Family's forever. Well, you have to be mindful and cautious and loving still, even if they are your family, because boundaries can be set up and boundaries can be put in place to protect that safety and to make sure that no hurt is done any further. And I know people in older generations don't like that word, boundaries, because it's like, oh, you're cutting me off. It's like, no, that's not it. We still want to have those family connections. It's just you're being disrespectful and you're disregarding.
Right. There's a reason why we got married and had our own family. It's like we're breaking away from the family we grew up with to have our own family. And that's not going to go with the same rules. You can't just come over and stomp all over what we built together and have those boundaries and rules set up. We have them, and you need to respect that. It might not be what you like, but that's how it goes. And if you don't like those rules, don't get involved. Don't be a part of us. Like, honestly, just you either got to respect it and be like, just turn your, what is it? Turn the other way, you know, roll those eyes another direction if you really don't like what they're doing, but just go with it. If you want to have those cousin fun times together, you know, we definitely know with both of our sides. We know with my side, with my nephew and nieces, it's like there are certain things we can't do around them. One has a bunch of allergies right now, and they're really trying to work with her. So there's so many things we can't do, or I can't even buy all these fun treats for all the kids because one can't have it, and they're at that age, they're all close in that age together, 2 years apart with all of them, that if one person has it and the other one doesn't, they don't have like the same thing together, there's tantrums. And I get it. We don't want to just give them what they want to let so they don't have those tantrums, but it's not fair. So it's either you get everyone something the same that they can all have, and there'll be times where it's like I'll get something that's like gluten-free, but right now my niece right now is going gluten-free and corn-free, and oh my word, and that's like all corn products, like even corn syrup and everything, and there is corn syrup in everything. So I feel so bad for her because I don't know any times where I'm just like, could you have this cracker? Like, it's like the worst, not the fun treats. And I feel so bad because I'm always like, I always have snacks in the bag for my kids. And I always try to get enough if I'm going to be with my nieces and nephew, that if I have enough for all of them. But I don't have something always specifically allergen free for my niece because I don't buy that stuff. It's, first of all, super expensive. So I'm glad no one in my family has allergens yet. And then I can only imagine what my sister's going through. So honestly, I feel it's not like I want to retaliate what she can or cannot have. I feel bad and pity her, and I want to help my niece and be like, oh, let's go somewhere special so you can enjoy yourself. Like, that's what the sister-in-law should have been like. That's what the sister-in-law should have done. Should have been like, you know what, let's make this good for you and make sure you get something that you enjoy and also know it's going to be safe for you. Like, that should be your priority, keeping your nephew safe.
Do you make any, not to shift it back anymore, but do you ever like make anything homemade for your niece?
Anything homemade? I have before. She's been through a roller coaster of different allergens that she's going through. It's because she's got like this gut stuff going through in her system, and they're trying to figure out what allergy or what certain food products she shouldn't be having to clear herself out. So it's not a permanent allergen, we're thinking. It's more of a temporary one that they're trying to clear through her system what she can or cannot have for so many months to make sure she can kind of be back to normal. Because with her little body, it's so hard to digest certain things. And yeah, exactly. And I think that's where they're just like, clear her from all these things right now, and we'll see maybe if we can introduce them back in. But we need it all out of her system for this long so we know what we're dealing with after and how she's acting. So when she didn't have the corn, when she didn't need to be corn free, it was gluten free and dairy free. And there were certain foods I would try and make for her, or products I'd find online. And then there was like, yeah, very much no sugar either. It had to be all sugar free. If there was sugar, it had to be less than 2 grams of sugar. And we, like, this is what we would do. We wouldn't just buy it and see what it says. We'd have to look at the ingredient, like not just the ingredient list, but the actual literal ingredients listed in there. And it'd be like the first 2 things would show exactly if we could have it or not, basically. So yeah, I try sometimes to come up with something, but then again, it's just so hard, and I would hate to make something where she can't do it. So honestly, this is what I do. I either get the ingredients for my sister so she knows what she can do with it, because she's come up with a list of things, and my niece is also a very picky eater. So even though my sister makes something for her, she'll take a bite and she won't go back to eating it. And I think my sister is on the last straw on some of these things, because it's hard. It's hard to come up with food for your toddler to eat because they're already picky enough. But to have allergens, and very big allergens that are in everything, Like, there was one point where she was like, there was hardly anything she could give her that was already made from the store, where she literally just had meat and vegetables for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that was all we knew for sure she could have without having to strictly research things. So that's what I'm saying. The amount of work that my sisters put in, like, this is what I'm seeing OP's parents, I think, doing for their son, really researching what restaurants are good for them. And for someone to disregard, like someone in your family, this is the sisters. This is the OP's writing, this is the husband. So his wife, this is her sister, the wife's sister. It's your own relative, like, and they're disregarding your nephew's, like, health.
Right.
That's just wrong. Do you want family like that around? It sucks because they have their own kids and their cousins, and they don't know any better. They're all kids. They all want to be around each other. You don't want to have to deal with that adult drama. But when you can't even trust the adult for taking your kids out, that's just what's going to happen. There are a couple of things on certain sides of the family that we trust a person, that we don't really have a full 100% trust in if we left them with that specific person. So we just know that we always have to make sure this other person's around to be able to leave our kids with, or we just plan something for another day when that person, the other person that we do trust, is there. It just, I'm not going to name names because it's like, I don't know if they're going to come back later. And if they call us out, you know, Justin will always tell them straight. But I'm not saying anything bad either. It's just certain things here and there we see. And there's just a little bit, if we don't feel comfortable, you can't, I know people get offended, especially with family. Family gets offended if you don't trust them with something. That's like, it depending on like how much you care. It's like a stab in the heart sometimes. But you can't take it too hard, because if you really want to keep this peace with your family and just be able to be in their lives and involved with their lives, you're going to have to respect them. And if there's something that they're asking for too much for you to do and you just don't believe in it, then that's when you're going to have to make the hard decision if you want to be around that family or not, and just not maybe break ties, but have low contact and just be able to contact them and be with them in other ways. And that is so hard to tell someone when that's your own flesh and blood, and you can't, like, they can't just be the person or act the way that you think they should. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't happen with everyone, and that is so hard. Like, I know you've dealt with your family, and Josh, you've felt with that. Justin and I are very blessed that pretty much almost everyone in our family we get along with. But we sometimes have said, like, oh, would it be fun to kind of move away from both of our families and just see what we're like without them, because they are so tied. They're so tied into our lives. It's like we literally talk about them every day because they're so close to us. One lives a minute down the road, and then the other ones live 15, 20 minutes from both sides from us. So it's like we're so wrapped up in each other's lives. Like, what would it be like if we just lived with ourselves and we just solely relied on us to work with each other every day and to be our own family?
I think it would like help you build that trust with other people too. And I think those other
build different connections,
and they would be stronger and healthier in a much different way, because you don't have just like that family tie, you know.
I feel like you always get like the back of your mind, well, it's family, you know. Oh, well, we got to do this because that's just who they are. They're family, you know. Oh, they can get away with it because they're family. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that's all bad. It's just saying there are times when you have to put your foot down and just say, hey, we need some time to ourselves. We need to do this ourselves. Like, I'm just saying there are people that either in-laws or their own family butt into the relationship of their marriage. And it does affect people's marriages, because then that's not just their family. They're adding other people outside of the family that shouldn't be involved in their decisions or their kids' lives as much, when it comes to be just the parents that have to come up with that decision. That's literally what it's all about.
I think too, and I can only speak because I've kind of experienced this myself, and like in older generations, it's giving up that control. Well, this is how I did things, and this is how the situation ended up turning out, or I did this and this is the benefit that I reaped from it. I'm like, okay, but you've had your chance.
Exactly.
You've had that chance to walk through that situation. I haven't. And how am I ever going to walk through this situation and not learn something from it if you're constantly telling me how I should be thinking and feeling?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm thankful, too, that a lot of this, just speaking from my parents personally, they haven't walked what Josh and I have had to walk through because they only had me. They don't have any experience raising more than one child. So
are you an only child?
I'm not. Yep, I am.
I did not know that. That's crazy. So, of course, they're going to want to be doing every little thing with you and your kids because it's like, this is our only grandkids. This is our, like, only connection with family. So I can imagine that's a lot. They probably want to get involved a lot.
It's been kind of hard, too. And I've noticed, like, it's easier to not tell them things that are happening in our lives that don't relate to them versus telling them and then putting up a boundary. I feel like when you don't tell certain things, you're kind of putting up a boundary as it is because I'm choosing to not involve you because it doesn't involve you. Like, this is a situation that, my husband and I need to figure out together. We need family, and you really can't offer anything in this situation. I know that may sound kind of rude, and him and I are pretty close. But, just because I am a daughter doesn't mean that my single aspect of my life. Like, and this is the thing that I've kind of had to grow to learn. Like, I don't have to tell my parents everything. Some things are meant to just stay within our family unit. And that's not mean or harsh or anything, but like, I don't know, some things have to stay sacred, and you don't tell everyone everything all the time unless you have that kind of relationship. And if people out there do, that's great. But
yeah,
I believe that there's some sanctity in keeping things just within your family unit.
I agree with that because I think when I started not having the strongest friend connections anymore because I was in a different mindset in life than my other friends, like I had a kid and married first before my whole friend group. So I was like, and I was way ahead of them. And we were all so young still. We were in our early 20s and like literally early 20s. So it was like, I didn't have anyone around me that I knew because like anyone like at church, they were all like maybe 10 years older than me, 5 to 10 years older than me, having kids or in different parts in their lives where it's just like, okay, like I'm such a young person having kids. Justin and I are very young getting married. Most of the people we knew are either getting married in their late 20s or they're even not even married yet. And we're in our 30s now. And it's just like we had kids and got married very young. That was just how we did things. And so it was really hard to find a group of people that I could talk to. So I did a lot of times talk to my mom and sister. And I find out later I shouldn't have because there are times that in the beginning of our marriage, Justin and I, we had a really rough area because we didn't have that fun honeymoon stage. We had a kid first, and we kind of went through that building our relationship. And we're at a point where I love things that we do, and we've grown together. I kind of feel like this is our honeymoon stage because we're so, like, we love everything we're doing. We truly are there for each other so much, whereas in the beginning, we did nag each other. It was like, oh my goodness, like you can't do this and that. We would bicker a lot. And now it's like, yeah, we really are there for each other so much more. So I will say like, I know you might be friends with your mom because I know as you get older, you have that relationship where you become friends with them. Right. I will say you do have to have that division between friend and parent. Because a mom will always they will always have a mom instinct on them. And they want to do what's best for you. So if you talk badly about your partner or your husband about wife to your mom or dad, they're not going to think good about your wife or husband. And they're going to have a bad picture now of their mind of how you are and how you should be treated better and how this should happen. And that's the thing. I think so much because of how our marriage and relationship went, it already kind of put a bad taste in my parents because, of course, we got got pregnant before getting married. And we are a Christian home. So obviously that is not the way things are supposed to go in our belief, obviously. And I totally agree. If I could change things, I would probably, but I wouldn't have my daughter where I am today. And I did turn around because I had her. And so both Justin and I did. So, but I will say, I think they tried so hard not to paint a bad picture of him. And that's when I knew I needed to stop talking to them about my relationship with him. I needed to talk to someone else. We both got some counseling after a while because it got so bad where it was like we didn't want to be around each other, or we were so stuck in wanting to do our own thing, we would just not spend time with each other. And then we would both probably be talking bad. Like Justin would totally ignore me. I'd go off with my girls, like the people I was working with, and we go to a bar and we go drink and we go talk about bad, how, he just doesn't want to do anything. He's, that's the thing. That's just how our relationship, when it was the bad turn. And after a while, I stopped going out with the people because they were bad influences on me. But I mean, I didn't have another group of girls, people from church. I didn't have anyone around me. These girls made me feel like I had someone I could talk to. That's just how important it is for you and your spouse to talk and communicate. You need to be the best friend for each other. Don't make them feel isolated and make them feel like they have to talk to someone else. Be that person for them always. And so if you do need to talk bad about someone, obviously you don't want to, still communicate with them. Say, this is how you're making me feel right now. And we learned a lot through all that. And that's why I'm saying right now, I feel like we're in our honeymoon stages now because I love him so much. I don't really want to talk to anyone else but him. I want to do all these things. All the things I want to do, all connect with him. So it's like, yeah, that's just how it goes. I would say you can have your family be your friend, but tread carefully, because what should come first after that? After you've left your family to get involved with someone else in a marriage, you make your partner, your spouse, your husband or wife, you make them first. They are priority. You make their comfort first before your family you grew up with and left. So,
because I mean, I think even Pastor Mark Driscoll has several sermons on that as well. And parents, likewise, when you have adult children, they're not your therapist. They're not the person you run to specify, or when your children are younger and still under your roof, they are not, there's a word to parentification, meaning the child steps up and kind of parents the parent. And it's like, this is where you need a good group surrounding you, good group of friends, a church group, a godly counselor, if not a pastor counseling you, so that you are not crossing these unhealthy boundaries and creating weird. I mean, there's so many avenues that you can branch out and go to that are so much healthier than just dumping it all onto your child.
No.
And being an only child, I had that a lot. And I kind of felt like, okay, what do I do? Like, what do I do with this information? Like, I'm not a therapist. Like, and I think it stems from an unhealthy marriage.
Yeah. Same with like parents, if they're going through a problem and they're consoling with their own children with their problems, like, no, you do not do that. Never tell your children the problems you're going with your own parents, with mom and dad. Never tell them, because they're going to choose sides, and we don't want to choose sides. Like, that is not the end result we want. Even if you guys do end up separating or divorcing, we don't want to choose sides. We want to have equal relationships with our mom and dad because they were both there for us. That just breaks people.
Not to make this a therapy session or anything, but
I kind of feel like it is.
I honestly heard a lot growing up that, now I don't want you to think badly about your father or disrespect him in any way. I'm like, I said, okay, as a child, I didn't really understand what that meant. But like as an adult, it's like, well, looking back, how it was kind of hard not to, because you're painting him in this light that is not loving. No matter how angry he has made you, And, mind you, my father's not saved, or at least I don't think that he is. And my mother is. That is a very hard, and she came to know the Lord after she was married. So that is an even harder thing to kind of see her walk through. But on that same coin, like I can't do anything. I can't offer any advice.
Oh yeah.
All I can say is, well, Mom, maybe you should connect with someone. Like I can connect you with, some pastors at our church, and or we've invited her to come to church with us multiple times, and she feels like Soteria is our church where we've made a home with our family. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but you can't just say you want all these things, want things to change, and then not ever do it.
Yeah, you gotta actually take those steps and move forward
and heal.
With it. Yes,
heal honestly. And move forward.
Don't just say about it, because you can talk the talk, but you gotta walk the walk. So,
right. And it takes more. And she doesn't have a church home, and I could go on and say a lot. You could have another conversation off the record.
And I honestly tell everyone out there listening, saying, like, obviously it doesn't have to be a church group that you have found like that connection to. That's just a great way to start if you do go to church. It also is a good way to start, like, if you do want to find a church and find that community that you can kind of rely on. There's a lot of people. A church community is very good to start with. If not that, maybe like an actual, like maybe club or something in your community, in your town. Yeah, a lot of people like have like a bunch of activities out there, club activities that you guys can, adult ones too, not just, I know there's kid ones, but there are adult ones that you guys can do to connect with. So many things. Parks and Rec, I found so many things that they'll like put out there saying yoga time for, like, they like put so many adult activities out there. So there's like pickleball or like sports or some like craft stuff. Get yourself signed up. You could be totally new and be out there and find a group of women, group of guys that you just all of a sudden like, hey, can I join your group really quick? Can I like play in this thing? And you get to talk and you see each other at least once a week, and maybe eventually you got yourself a connection there. Got yourself maybe even a friend that you can maybe reach out to later. So reach out, find a community, people that I feel like since COVID, we've had so many people just so homebodies, and that's okay to be that every once in a while, but you still need maybe someone to be a homebody with you. Then like find someone you can talk to, because that's the biggest thing in life, is having those social connections, and your purpose in life is to be here for others. So
I was just gonna say that, like, we were created to be with people.
Yes.
Whether you are a believer listening in right now, or you're like I'm going to say, like, talking from how Beck and I believe, our Creator created us to be with others, to be with not only other believers, but connect with others that are non-believers, to just have those social interactions, because we're not made to walk this life alone and to do any part of this journey by ourselves.
No one should be able to live, like, be able to try and walk through life alone, because I'm sorry, that's so lonely. And I get it. If you're a loner, it's okay to be a loner, but to have no one ever, like, do you ever think of who's going to think of me when I die? Like, that's the thing. We don't want to have those thoughts. We want to make sure that we always know that there's someone always going to be there for us, or that we could rely on to talk to about any problems we have. Don't face them alone. You can have your alone time, but face your troubles with someone you can share it with and confide in, because that's literally, like we said, on this purpose on earth is to literally live our life for others. And then those others are also for you as well. Have those connections to be able to share your life. And honestly, there's so much meaning to it when you make other people happy and smile. It brings joy to yourself, and that joy is so contagious. So honestly, live for others. It will bring joy to you.
Absolutely. And I always hate this, like that saying that you said, well, I wonder if anyone would care about me. Of course they will, but on the same hand, you have to get out there and communicate your needs to others. None of us are mind readers. None of us
That's an intrusive thought right there, but we've all had it. You can't say we have not all had that. We've all had that thought.
We could know someone so extremely well, but the thing is, we aren't the same people we were 10 years ago. The things that we thought we knew about a person 10 years ago are not going to be the same as they are today. Mm-hmm. People are constantly changing and evolving. Their likes, their dislikes, their internal thought processes, how they conduct themselves in life is going to be different from even year to year. So that's never a reason to stop, sharing that with others and communicating that to others, because none of us are mind readers.
No, honestly, you can't expect people to know what you're thinking. That goes for like spouses, that goes for friends, that goes for complete strangers. Honestly, no one knows what you're thinking. You actually have to say it out. You have to say it. You have to take the first step and maybe talk to someone. Don't be like, oh, I don't know what they're going to think if I don't want to bother them, or I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden. Yes. I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to make, someone feel uncomfortable because that'll make me feel uncomfortable. No, I'm sorry. Everyone's going to have that awkward, uncomfortable stage in the beginning, but trust me, once you push through it and keep going forward with it, it'll be worth it. And will you always have acceptance? No, you won't. No. You'll have some rejection from people that you try and reach out to and shoot your shot trying to be friends with or connect with. But honestly, that's just the way of life. It's not perfect. So keep moving forward. Keep trying. Right. Like, this is literally a life lesson here in this episode today.
Lots of things out there, and it's good. It's good to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we have one more story. I want one more story. I know we're getting there.
Okay.
If you're okay with that. One more story. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. This is it's gonna end up not maybe in the beginning, but it will end up on a lighter note, just because we've kind of gone through, like we said, family drama can be a little deep sometimes. Like, you don't think these are as big of problems, but they kind of are.
We're sharing our family drama, so
yeah, seriously,
it all wraps up in the same.
We're gonna trauma dump here on you guys, like, literally on our lives. So we've been through the ringer before. Don't even get me started on that. That could be like 3 episodes on itself with all that. So, and I do sometimes, I go off of this subreddit sometimes, and I think it's funny. So depending on what I can come across is good. So this is about baby names. And this was on r/name nerds. There's also another subreddit that's like r/baby names, or is this a good baby name? So sometimes people will put out there like certain baby names they've either heard or that someone has named, and everyone's like, is this a good name or not?
Why would you take that sort of advice from strangers?
So it might, but this one, hear me out. You got to read this story I'm going to read. You're going to understand why this person's putting it out here. Because sometimes, here's the other thing, when we don't have family around and they don't have maybe their own friend groups that they can talk to without it being kind of like maybe more anonymous, so people don't like spread it out, who are you going to go to? You're going to go anonymously on the internet to a bunch of strangers who don't know anything about you.
That is true.
I mean, if you want complete non-biased opinions, just go to the internet to a bunch of strangers. So the title is Wife Wants to Name Our Twins Romeo and Juliet. And you got a set of twins. What do you think of those names? And they're boy-girl. Boy-girl just like yours. What do you think?
Okay. Please, before you start the story, we were tossing around and being funny that, because we're big Star Wars nerds in our house, okay? So
no, please say you are not. Were you thinking Luke and Leia?
Yeah.
No! No!
What?
You do know they kissed in the show. No. I will say that's still not as bad as Romeo and Juliet, because they're not even. I mean, I guess they are.
Lovers.
They are cousins. They are cousins.
Really?
Aren't
Man,
they?
I don't remember that.
Weren't they cousins? Like something. I thought there was some kind of. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's something else. But they are lovers. And then they die.
I never cared too much for that story.
No, honestly, they've done so many different versions of that story. Obviously, it's all the same, where they're both lovers who kill themselves. And that's just awful. When people are like, it's so romantic. I'm like, but they both die. And they weren't smart enough. They weren't smart enough to realize one was faking it and the other actually did it. And then they see they die and then they do. Seriously, these people were not smart.
I will say, though, I was really partial to the Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, Romeo and Juliet in Love than I was any other retelling or remaking of that story. So
okay, we had to in high school. We had to watch. I can't remember if it was like the 30s or 40s version. It was basically they had the original. And then they had the early 2001, which had Leonardo. Was it Leonardo DiCaprio?
Juliet in Love, yeah.
Yes, and with the guns and the whole swag, and it was
like they put like modern pop music to it. Yeah,
modern pop music. And then what was it? Something about one of the characters was literally a drug. It was like compared to a drug. Oh man, okay, I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird. I will say it was just weird. So, yeah, we won't get into that. But basically the story here, my wife is a huge Shakespeare fan. And she loves the idea of naming the twins Romeo and Juliet. I'm against it. I can't get over the idea of naming our kids after a fictional couple who dies. I do really like the name Juliet. I even suggested that if we go with Juliet, maybe we could name our son Tybalt after Juliet's cousin. She insists that if we use Juliet, we have to use Romeo. I'll admit, Romeo and Juliet is one of the only Shakespeare plays I've read, but I've tried to look online for some other Shakespearean sibling names we could use, like Ophelia and Lartus, which if I am misspelling these names, I am so sorry for you guys out there who are Shakespearean fans. From Hamlet to Claudio and Isabella. Oh wait, so it's Ophelia and Lartus from Hamlet, or Claudio and Isabella from Much Ado About Nothing. She hasn't liked any of them because either their source isn't serious enough or the names aren't recognizable or famous as Shakespearean. So it's like it doesn't matter if it's Shakespearean, it has to be famous Shakespearean. Which obviously Romeo and if you were a true Shakespearean fan, you wouldn't care. Honestly, you'd dig out names that no one knows and be like, "Oh yeah, they're Shakespeare." Right. Yeah, no, but these are ones that people would recognize.
I love the name Ophelia. I love that name.
That's what I was doing when I read that Ophelia. I'm like, that's a pretty name. I like that.
Yes.
So she's really stuck on this. On their own, I think they're lovely. But I don't think they would work for twins. Is there a way I can convince her that this is a bad idea? Or does anyone have other Shakespearean name suggestions that might win her over? I'm not sure if I'm overthinking the meaning behind the names and being weird about it, but I can't talk with anyone about this because she wants the twins' names to be a surprise. So that's why he's putting it out here, because it's supposed to be a surprise, but he can't get through to her that this is not a good idea.
So he can't even tell her that he wrote a post about this.
We'll get into that.
How is he going to convince her? Like, if I understand, like, no family and friends, and it's okay. Like, how is she? Like, she has to read these comments to see how dumb her idea is.
A lot of people do that, and we will get into that because that is something mentioned. Top comment is naming twins after famous lovers. It's not good. Don't do it. Like, I'm sorry, you're naming siblings as famous lovers. That is not good. Like, I could get having two dogs that were from two different people, like two different litters, And you're just like, oh, look,
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet, they love each other so much. Look how cute they are. Or like having actual dogs that are breeding together be Romeo and Juliet. That's like super cute. I can see that. But naming siblings, twin siblings, any sibling, it wouldn't care. Just any sibling. Like if you named one Juliet and then 2 years later you have a boy and you name him Romeo, seriously, don't do that. I will always joke because my name is Rebecca and my younger brother is Jacob. And if you know the biblical story, I basically technically had my brother as a son because in the Bible, Rebecca gives birth to 2 sons and one of them is Jacob. So I will always joke because I'll always tell people whenever they bring up my name because they're like, oh, Rebecca from the Bible. Yep. And you'll think this is funny. My younger brother's name is Jacob. And if you know the Bible, if you know that story, people start laughing. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, a lot of people are coming after saying your kids will never ever forgive you. Do not do this. This is bad. There are people like saying don't do this, but there are a lot of people who are giving out name suggestions from other plays saying, why wouldn't you use actual twin character names that Shakespeare had twins, I found out. I didn't know that. Shakespeare actually had twins. And he's actually named one of his shows with twins of his own in there. And so basically they're saying like use actual twin characters from Shakespeare's plays because they actually have have a bunch of plays with sibling names, and there are even a couple with twins in there. She's like, they're all like, why don't you use those? Those are actual names. Or use one Shakespeare name from one story and another Shakespeare name from another play. I mean, there's so many names out there. All the sibling names are not going to make sense. Like, Ophelia is a super cute girl name, but the other one, I have no idea even how to say it. Lartus, I don't know.
You know, Lars is even a cute. I mean, I don't even know if that's a Shakespearean name, but I've always kind of liked the name Lars.
If you are true Shakespearean fans, you wouldn't care. Honestly,
yeah.
if you were a true Shakespearean fan, you wouldn't use Romeo and Juliet as sibling names.
Yeah.
Because either you are totally crazy for thinking that's a good idea, or you would be smart enough to know exactly what the story's about. Everyone knows the story, though. That's the funny thing. It's such a famous story. Everyone knows what it's like. Everyone could tell you who's not even a Shakespeare fan can tell you what Romeo and Juliet's about. And when they find siblings with that name, they're going to be a little disturbed by it.
Because you can't think of only what you want. You have to think of how your children will be called and what they will think.
Yes.
It's not, you're giving them their names.
That's like the biggest thing. You find out okay, what's a nickname we could have for the kid? Is it going to be a bad nickname that they could take it for something else? Honestly, we think all around it because we just don't want them being even if it's going to be an easier name for them to be able to spell. That was the biggest thing with my parents. They had first thought of having my name spelled the way from the biblical story of Rebecca, the biblical name, but then they changed it to be the other way, Rebecca, so then it would be easier, because they thought it'd be easier for me to spell right away than the other version. And you know what? That's fine. I always told them, I would have loved being spelled. I was so honored for them having, one of the names from the Bible, and I wish they had me spell it the way from that, but I'm okay. Honestly, that's just me as a kid saying that. And then to me, it's I'm okay with the way I'm spelling. I have my name. I'm a parent myself. I understand exactly what their mindset was to do that. So, yeah, that's just this is first-time parents. So, you know how we are as a first-time parent. We kind of get a little crazy with things, thinking over the top, thinking, oh, this is going to be the best. We're going to do this. We're going to be something so unique that no parent has ever done before. Well, truly, I don't know if anyone's named their twin kids Romeo and Juliet. So that's a first. But we do get an update. Same month. This was 4 months ago that this person posted this. So it's somewhere close after that. They're still posting 4 months ago the update. Thanks to all the comments and name suggestions. I didn't want to speak badly about my wife, but yes, I'm well aware of how deranged it is to name a pair of siblings after a fictional couple, and I was too much of a coward to bring up the incest thing in my original post. He said incest. So I kind of thought, if there was a background story, I kind of thought Romeo and Juliet were distant cousins. I thought they were.
Right. Because
they're famous. They're famous families. And when you have like famous families, there usually is an ancestral, like, that bloodline that's somehow they're distant cousins from whoever started it. I really thought that they were like a very distant cousin, but they hated each other. Yeah, that's how I thought. They never ever put that out there for people who don't look into this more. But I'm pretty sure when we researched it, or we had to do stuff over it, that's what it ended up being. So basically, in defense of my wife, her pregnancy has been very hard on her. It's her first, and naming the kids is the only thing she seemed happy about these days. For context, she's seen the Romeo and Juliet play in person, and it is an avid reader of plays in general. But she's always liked Shakespeare most because they were the ones that she studied. A few years ago, she even ran a Shakespeare club for kids at the local library. Most recently, she was rereading the play and suggested we name the kids after the main characters. I was taken aback and told her we'd sleep on it, but the following day, it was all she would talk about, and she was so happy I didn't have the heart to talk her out of it. She became more and more fixated on it, and as the weeks went on, after making this post, I asked her again why it had to be these two names. She told me she always liked symbolic meanings and grand declarations of love and family sense. She also mentioned that out of all the plays she read, Romeo and Juliet was the most iconic, that people would be able to recognize them, and that it would make it easier to talk to other parents if they asked why the kids were named Romeo and Juliet. I don't think for the right reasons, hun.
No, that's good.
No, they're going to ask why they're named Romeo and Juliet, knowing after the fact that they're siblings.
The look of disgust on their face is like, oh,
right? Here she is beaming with pride how her kids are named Romeo and Juliet, and everyone's just disgusted. And I'm sorry, it would be such a shock for her to find out that people actually don't want this. So I would be, so I'm so glad the husband's here and catching it ahead of time before. Like,
smart man, that guy.
Man. Seriously, like I said, there are some perks going to a room full of internet strangers. So
it's like, it would be so bad, like, if she went through with it and those were the names that got put on the birth certificate, and then later down the road, when she realizes how massive of a mistake she made, to go and get them legally changed.
Right.
Like, what?
Like, that's the thing. That's where, like, if you actually did go through with this, it would be so traumatizing on those kids if you kept up with it, thinking it was fine. But I honestly think not even that close after they were born, if she was doing this herself without, like, her husband, or her husband was all for it, I think she'd find out very close after that it's very strange. So I think going to the doctor, going to, like, mommy clubs with your kids or the daycare, everyone is going to give you, either they're going to be too afraid to talk to you about it and just talk behind your backs, or someone's going to mention something up front. So, and people always, that's so hard to do it when you're just like, someone tells you a name and you're just like, did you know about this? But they're so dead set on this name, and people are like, I don't care, it's not going to cause problems. But it's like a very, very popular name with a bad, like, meaning to it. Like, I feel bad for Karens out there right now, because that is not a good name to use for kids right now, because the era of Karens is horrific. And I feel so bad because I've met some very nice Karens. The male version is Ken. Yeah, I've heard that.
That's the male dad's name.
Oh. Oh, he's a nice guy, right? Can he be a Karen sometimes? The male version of it? Oh, that's so funny. That's just all I ever see is when it's like, the male version is Ken, because we've found a male version of Karen. We're going to call him Ken. And it started trailing that. It started going viral that anyone that's a male version of Karen is a Ken. That was the name for it, which I feel, It's so wrong because every time I think of the name Ken, I will only ever think of Barbie and Ken. That's a millennial right there for you.
I'm done dumping my family stuff for tonight.
We probably should stop because I know, right? Let's cool it on them. Let's give them a break. Oh man. No, that's okay. That's literally how it goes. Okay, so he goes on to say, I sat on this for a few days, and honestly, it felt like I didn't know her. I pray this is her pregnancy brain talking, but this isn't her. She's always been a romantic and fixates on trends or ideas, but this is just weird. Yesterday, I finally told her point blank that we were not naming our kids after such a famous couple under any circumstances, and I showed her this thread. So he does show her his post. She refused to look at it and broke down. So that much it did for her. My wife asked why I couldn't just let her have this. Some suggested that she needed to hear how crazy she was from someone who wasn't me. So I told her best friend what was happening. And she was more horrified than I was. How I probably should have reacted. Her best friend came over after work, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I know they watched the 1968 movie version of Romeo and Juliet together, which I've been told has a sex scene. I think that snapped some sense into my wife. Her friend left a few hours ago, and my wife's been quiet, but she asked if we could look over the names I'd picked out again. Yeah, once you see that scene, and you think, oh, brother, sister?
I don't remember that in that version, but...
That's the thing. It's like, there's so many different versions out there, though, that we probably don't even know. So...
Well, and even if that was the version that we all watched in school, they obviously did not show that scene, but...
obviously.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Who knows? I don't know. That can't be 1968 with Leonardo. That was early 2000s that they created that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, no, there's got to be another one, which I did not know had that kind of scene in it, is that the one we saw?
2000s one?
I feel like that's not the compared version we saw, like the traditional looking one. Like the traditional, like, way that they played out Romeo and Juliet as in, like, the era they were in. Oh, okay. Oh, he says, thanks again for all the comments. I think we both needed reality slapped into us. Her from her delusion and me from my apparent lack of common sense. She's still dead set on something Shakespeare, theater related, and somewhat matching. But now that her head is clear, I hope we can pick something better. From the quick read of all the comments I showed her, she did like the name Sebastian. So Sebastian and Viola is another Shakespearean play that had like a set of sibling names, which someone had commented something on there. Because she says she liked Sebastian, but she's on the fence about Viola. And there's a movie, I don't know if you know, with Amanda Bynes called She's the Man.
I like that movie.
Yeah. And it has her and her twin brother as Sebastian and Viola. And then she dresses up. Oh my gosh, this is like, I think it's based off a Shakespeare play because she dresses up as a man. And they have that a lot. In Shakespeare, a lot of women or men will dress up as women and women dress up as men.
Because Amanda Bynes is later in the movie Easy A with Emma
Stone.
Yes, and that's based on the Shakespearean play The Scarlet Letter, I think. Or I think if that's a play.
Easy A, yes.
Like you wore like the A on your...
Is that Shakespeare? Yeah. Scarlet Letter?
I don't know. The Scarlet Letter is a play. I don't know if Shakespeare wrote it. I
didn't know if it was a Shakespearean play, but I do know it is a play because we did go and study that too. Yeah, that's crazy that they made a bunch of movies off of Shakespeare.
And 10 Things I Hate About You is based off the Shakespearean play Taming of the Shrew.
Wow, that's crazy. No wonder they're all messed up so bad. And we still romanticize them. Somehow Shakespeare really touched our heart with traumatizing plot lines, but still making it romantic. That is so twisted. I guess he was kind of twisted himself. But anyway.
I like Ophelia. Man, I like that name.
I do like that name too.
Too late to change Galea's name, sorry.
I guess it is a little late, yeah. Can't go back now.
Sorry.
He basically says, I let her off the hook for now. She's so sick, but once we're back to normal, I'm not letting her forget this happened. I'll update this again once we finally have names picked out. And he does have names
Oh,
about,
nice.
yeah, they actually update it. So like 3 months later, this was just a month ago, he posted this. He's like, I wanted to write a quick final update. It's been a few months and everything has calmed down. My wife had the babies last month and they're both healthy and we're both exhausted. The names we ultimately chose are Sebastian Jacob and Juliet Elizabeth, inspired by Sebastian from Twelfth Night and Juliet from Romeo and Juliet, as well as Jacob and Elizabeth from the Jacobean and Elizabethan eras of theater, which they use those names a lot, I know, in theater, when Shakespeare wrote. A big thank you to the person who suggested that. My wife loved it. We had the twins at home for a few weeks before we named them. So they had them at home for a little bit before they even named them. I could never imagine that. Bringing my kids home and be like, what should I name you? Baby 1 and baby 2. Baby A, baby B.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly how...
That's how it goes with twins. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah. With the ultrasound, they'll be like, there's baby A and there's baby B.
So when they got them out of me during my C-section, they put hats on each of them, and Gaten said A, and then Galea, because Gaten came out first. And when they got them all, everyone got back to the room, and they asked what their names were, then they put their little name cards in their bassinets, but... Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, because I saw twins, I was like, and it was like boy and girl, I'm like, I have to do this with Mollie. I have to do this. I have to do this. So, they basically said that they're both exhausted. My wife finally was able to see them as our children rather than the extension of herself to advocate her hobbies. Hence the separate but still Shakespearean themed names, which hopefully won't be too obvious. So she was, I think, so stuck on Shakespeare with how she loved it so much. It was more of definitely a project than an actual like bonding. This is my child that we're going to raise here. Honestly, I feel like she was so romanticized on this fixated, like this is going to be the iconic name of the family, Romeo and Juliet. I don't think she realized the red flags of having siblings named lovers.
Well, and these could be two kids that grow up hating theater and all things having to do with theater. Like,
when parents... Yes. No, I understand. When parents have such strong hobbies, like, I swear, I have a cousin who loved soccer so much, he named one of his kids named Beckham.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And you know what? It's fine. I do know they like soccer, so I don't think they like forced it down their throats and everything. I just think he loved it so much and they thought that was a great name. As like not a last name, but like a first name actually. So honestly, it ended up really cute, but they live on a farm and everything. They're definitely not like, they're huge on sports and all that, but they do like their sports and I think they do that. So I think that's fine. When you're so fixated like this person was, they don't want to hear other people's opinions. They don't want to hear what could go wrong with it. And there are some people out there that like, yeah, you have a beautiful name. You could, and that's why I always ask people how to spell something, even if it's simple, because you literally could spell it any way you want. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's basically the end of the thing. They said, thanks for everything. I will say there was a name. And again, it was on Love Island. But the person, I'm sorry. It was very dramatic this season, like very dramatic. I loved the person I really loved the most, and people are gonna like be so. If you guys watch it, you're gonna hate. You guys would probably guess who I really liked in the beginning, and pretty much for the whole thing. Because here's the thing, she was a single mom. You guys probably already know who she was, and you don't get a lot of single moms on the show. Because they're in their young 20s, maybe mid 20s. You don't get a lot of people with kids because they're going to be gone for like over a couple months away from their kid. But she had her her kid young at like, I think she had like a 4-year-old. I think she had her around 20 or 19, which I'm sorry. I related to her quite a bit. She was kind of misunderstood. She had these high emotions that she liked someone and she got too attached in the beginning, but he kind of bombed her. So she was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then, yeah, she got a little too maybe crazy. It was kind of like, I went through this journey with her on the show. And her name was Huda. She's, and so like people were like, Huda. And she's like, yeah, like coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's Huda. And they made, this person went so viral on the show. I don't know where she started with followers on Instagram. She is now at almost 4 million followers on Instagram. People were going crazy. And I do really like her. I think she is really misunderstood. She can be a little too fiery at times, for her age. But I really liked her. I think she's 24 or 25. I can't remember. She's young. Okay. Like I said, she had this kid maybe when she was like 19, 20, which is when I had my kid. So then, I like really related to her, and I was really stuck into this show. And she went through her journey, but I really do think by the end she kind of grew and knew that she ended up breaking up with her relationship with this person on the final date of the show. She went through this whole thing, ended up being in one of the finalists, and they broke things off. It was just not a good thing. It was so humiliating to watch for her. So awkward, I should say, because they literally broke up on this beautiful date on the water on a floating table with this like singer, and then they're like, yeah, I don't think we should continue this. It was so iconic. But anyways, the first person I wanted to say that was on there, one of the first people on there, her name was Bella. But this is how she spelled it. Yeah. She spelled it Belle, like Belle, -A. Like Belle -A. And you know what people took from that the whole time she was there? They didn't know how to say her name. So people were saying Bella, but then other people were saying, oh, it's Beldasha.
Beldash.
Like, honestly, I'm not hating it all the way, but I thought it was completely hilarious. It was like there was this one movie with, was it Vanessa Hughes? Is that, or is it Hudson? It's Vanessa from
High School Musical.
From High School Musical, and she was in this movie, and I want to remember what it was, but she called herself Sam, but Sam with a 3, and the 3 was silent, like she had a number in her name, and she had it like it was silent. So then she was the weird child, kind of. That was her trend, and then by the time she kind of got more popular with it, then everyone was wanting to put a random number in their name, and it was silent. So that's all I can think about it. And I'm sorry, I can't find this movie, but so if anyone knows what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. But I honestly was just like, this whole thing was cracking me up this whole season, because I was getting so not fixated. I was not fixated. I could take a break from it, but it's my only thing. It's like with these stories, it's like you read them, there's so much drama to it, but I ain't a part of it. I could literally just push stop and be done for the night. That's all I got to do with it. Justin's got his gaming he likes to do. I like to watch drama that I'll never have in my life, hopefully.
The Summer I Turned Pretty season 3.
Okay, I watched. Oh wait, there's a third season, right?
Yes. Okay. And there's going to be 11 episodes. They're releasing an episode every Wednesday until.
I watched the first season. I forgot about it all last season. And then I saw it pop up on my screen again. So I will probably watch it because, I like that show too when she was having to choose between two brothers. Like, we'd be like, which brother is the best? Who's going to be good? Like, is it Team Jacob or Team Edward again? We're all starting this all over again with shows.
Something the other day that the Summer I Turned Pretty wasn't really written for the demographic you think it's written for. There was like a theory going around that said, I think it's really targeted towards like 30 to 40 some year old women, because the way that it's written, it really mimics a lot of the shows we grew up watching, like the OC and One Tree Hill,
it all is. There's like two types of boys, totally two different, super handsome. Yeah. But which one are you gonna go for? You're gonna go for the bad boy who actually turns good and actually is like, I'm going to treat this girl like the best person ever because she actually is the best person and deserves that. Or you're going to have the always good kid who ends up maybe becoming a little like more steamier and he's changing his vibe a little bit, being a little different. Who are you going to go for?
Right. Exactly.
You can't tell I've watched these before, have you? No, not at all. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm, just here 30 romanticizing on people I'll never have because I'm already married and I love my man. So
that's why, like, that in the show that's on Amazon Prime too, called We Were Liars. That's a really, I haven't quite got through that yet, but it's kind of like, not like a romance or anything like that. It's kind of like a mind-bending plot twister type of show. It's like a limited series. So I think lots of these limited series shows are popping up because it's almost too long to be a movie, but that's kind of what it ends up being, just chopped up into episodes,
Exactly, yeah. I don't know what I like. I mean, obviously, you like a good movie all the time. We got our classics from the 90s and early 2000s, obviously. Like, I will go back to those movies all the time. And referencing
Titanic, I remember, like, if Titanic were written today, it would probably be a limited series because goodness gracious, girl, I used to have the VHS. That 3-hour long movie was split into 2 VHS
I was gonna say
tapes.
how many VHS what is it, Lord of the Rings? Like, how many sections were they? That part 1, part 2, part 3 of the one. Like, yeah. I swear I loved it when it was VHS or DVDs and they actually, because it was so long, have it on 2 or 3 separate discs or VHS tapes because it was that long. And
You want to know why? I have a theory as to why shows today are set up like limited series. It's because our attention span, or today's like youth, their attention span is like so low that they have to break it up like that.
Well, it's like, yeah. People are streaming so much too. So I mean, you just stream it. True. That's a huge thing right now instead of having to go to the theaters, because honestly, there's still things in the theaters are big, but not probably as big as they were in today's world because we are streaming everything. We can just wait for it to stream. It's not that big of a deal. Everything, as soon as the movie gets out in theaters, is posted out on social media anyway. So you're going to see a lot of it. So I do think like they are remaking the Harry Potter series into a show series instead of movies, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I feel yet, because in a way you just love the originals because you grew and loved that, because when the books were out, they made the movies, and J.K. Rowling had she had a choice. She actually was there to make sure the people matched who the characters were like. Like, basically, she had a word and everything to make sure everything was going right. I will say, though, if you are wanting to really get into Harry Potter, read the books first, because you will get disappointed and be stuck and now I'm using the word fixated a lot. Way more than I ever have. That's the most I've ever said fixated in my life is because of that story. Goodness. Because now it's always popping in my brain. But basically, I'm doing my daughter the right way by having her read the books first before she can ever watch the movies. Because you will understand so much with the movies that cut out from the books. Because when you watch the show or the movie and then you read the books, you're like, that was never mentioned. Because they had to cut so much from the movie, because if you had basically everything, it would be a 2-part movie for each book, because that's how much is in it. So I do think, I'm really hoping the reason why they're making a show series is because they're going to put all the details they need to that they couldn't put in a movie. I am really hoping for that. If they don't, I will be so disappointed. There are a lot of people who are very much looking into this show, and they are going to criticize a lot.
You're saying and streaming it, is it Disney?
You know what? I don't know who's streaming it.
Like Disney Plus?
I want to look it up really quick, and it's going to be on HBO. Interesting. I was not, yeah. But honestly, I'm wondering if they're going to try and put way more stuff in there than they could through Disney.
Right.
Because Disney kind
Yeah.
of has to be, they kind of have to back up sometimes on certain things. I don't know. I honestly didn't think it was going to be streaming on Disney Plus, but that would have made sense because Disney, well, Disney World and Disneyland have so many things related to Hogwarts and
Well, not only
Harry
that,
Potter.
but like Disney is trying to push an all-inclusive equality all across the board with race, gender, all those things.
Yeah, I just talked about this about a movie that came out that's really cute, but they actually had more purposes before it came out. Remember, I don't know if you've heard of Elios, the alien one.
Yeah, we're not allowing our children to see that.
They actually, my daughter did go see that because I did some research. They took basically everything out representing.
Did they?
They did because they got such bad reviews on the test audience they used it on that they ended up taking it all out. So now he's just a normal boy, basically. And I think because I did the research of it, because I did actually hear about it like right before my sister-in-law was going to take her, because I wanted to be sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken her to that. Because there's nothing worse than having a kid who's underage, is still in her own, like she's a child, for her to have that stuff mixed up in your head. Just be a child. Be you. Don't have those thoughts in your head at that young of age. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why they're pushing for things like that for people to, or for kids to change who they think they are at such a young age.
Because Disney is out for your children.
I have problems really with that.
Deep rabbit holes, but
there are a couple
Disney's
movies on Disney that we don't want the kids to watch because it's just like, it's nothing against the person who decides to be that. I have a problem of them introducing it to kids of age that are not old enough to think on their own and know what's best for them. Let's not confuse them even more. Let's not confuse them. And that's where it just confuses everyone in life. I'm sorry. I'm going to put it out there for this podcast, so if I lose viewers, I'm sorry. But I believe that you're biologically male and female. That is who you were born to be. I believe that. And I get it. I'm not hating anyone. I love everyone. If you are a person that I can love the person you are. That is it. I can love the person you are. I don't have to love the things you believe in. That's just how it goes. So I know we're ending this at kind of like a all over the place kind of thing because there's so many views out there for people. But yeah, like I said, that like there are certain shows and movies. I don't think you need to introduce those views of who you should and shouldn't be. Why can't we just have kid movies that are just for kids? About kids. I don't know if they're trying so hard to also get the adults involved.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I get it. Disney has that problem when they like to put like, the saying where they put some Easter eggs in there for parents to only find in Disney movies. Yeah.
At least like innuendos that if you're, well, like even in the Trolls movie, there's one line that sticks out. That one goofy-looking troll, and mind you, this came out a few years ago, where they're talking about the topic of sarcasm.
Oh, I think I had a sarcasm once.
Yeah, I thought, it's like I know exactly what they were trying to hint at.
Obviously, honestly, it's like you guys sometimes are trying too hard.
Yeah, honestly, really, come on.
Adults can enjoy the movie just because their kids enjoy the movie. Like, honestly, you don't have to try so hard for the adults to laugh at it too. Like, you're there for your kids. That's the only reason. You're not there to enjoy yourself. Unless you want to enjoy it, like I do know some Disney adults, Justin once, he said I was a Disney adult. No, hon, I can tell you some stories that you can see people posting who's at Disney World almost every other week. Those are Disney adults. when they're at the park so much, they're getting involved with everything. They have to have every single little collection they have to have. Nothing against those people out there, because if you have time and money to do that, I guess go for it. But as a parent, I've never been to Disneyland, Disney World, and one of these days I said I'd want to. But honestly, knowing all the stories I hear about how it's crazy the lines are, how you just have to do so much walking, you can't even explore everything because there's so much of it, and you can't even explore everything in one day or even in a couple days because there's so much of it. I think I'd be too overwhelmed. I think my mom brain would explode and I wouldn't know what to do. So I'd rather just not go at all.
Was trying to parent in all of that. Like, no,
Yeah.
I would be in constant overstimulation and just ready to crash out.
I wouldn't even enjoy it myself. So what's the point of going if I'm not going to enjoy it? Like, I grew up on Disney. I know all the Disney lines. Like, I could literally say line by line some of the movies. Like, I could literally just say all the lines. That's why Justin considers me a Disney adult, because I love watching Disney movies with the kids. I love it so much. So I will tell you, like, I'll memorize all the lines. I'm terrible. I'm super annoying. But I am not a Disney adult as in obsessed with going to parks and all that. So yeah, I am definitely, there's a story out there about a Disney adult. I might have to bring it up sometime for people to hear because it is pretty crazy. Okay, we've gone a little long. We might need to wrap it up. I mean, yeah, it is getting kind of late. I don't know. Are you getting tired?
A little bit.
I was gonna say I'm always tired, so I can always say, yeah, I'm tired, because I'm always a little bit of that tired that I'll just always carry through. First thing in the morning, yeah. Middle of the day, yeah. End of the day, yeah. I'm always gonna be that little bit of tired. I'm never gonna be fully rejuvenated back to
what is it about late at night that all of a sudden you go, oh wait, I have all this energy to like watch my favorite show or eat my favorite snack. I'm the same way.
I could take a 9:00 nap until like probably 11:30 or midnight when Justin's about to go to bed, and I'll be like, oh wait, I forgot to do all this stuff, and so then I stay up till like almost 2:00 in the morning because I have this burst of energy from sleeping in the evening, because he woke me up, said, hey, how about you just get to bed? And I'm like, oh no, I forgot to do all this stuff. I got to do it. And then I'm up till like almost 2:00 because I was like, I thought I could handle all of it.
And I can't.
But then there's other days if I actually stay up for the whole day, like today, I'll probably crash here in like 30 minutes once we're done with this call.
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess we're going to end it here. Those were our stories for today, guys. I'm so thankful that I was able to reach out to Mollie today. We'll see how, when I edit, what this all sounded like. So we'll see if this is we'll see if we can continue doing this or if it's a no-go, maybe. I don't know. But who knows? I'm hoping we can do this more, because then you're at the own comfort of your home that you could literally just slip around. You could turn around your chair and just, boom, crash on the bed. Yeah, because Lord knows I'm going to be doing that next. Yes. But if you guys have any comments, any suggestions you guys want for more stories, you can email us at theredditrandos@gmail.com. I hesitate every time because it's like I almost forget my own name. It's like a tongue twister at first. But I've enjoyed doing these stories. I hope you guys have too. So let me know. Share your love in any platforms that you're streaming or listening to this podcast, and comment, because I'd love to hear from you guys. But I guess at this point, we'll catch you later. So anything else you want to say, Mollie?
No, that's it.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see the rest of you guys later. So goodbye.
You